Welcome to Increase Their Abilities. Simple tips to create lifelong learners. Take a moment to review the learning objectives. Students tend to give up easily or quit as soon as a task becomes difficult. They are more likely to give up when facing obstacles. Carol Dweck calls this the quitter effect. They see difficult tasks and new situations as a way to expose their failures to the world. The work done around growth mindset by Carol Dweck and her colleagues centers around how we respond to challenges. Think back to the last time you did something new for yourself. How hard was it? Did you see the challenge as something that was defeating you, that you could not overcome? Or did you see this challenge as a new way to stretch yourself and see how far you can go? People with the growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve rather than obstacles to avoid. The problem with doing the practice wrong is that most people don't realize that they're doing it incorrectly because they have the illusion of knowing once they take a test. However, if you give them that same test at a later date, they will score significantly lower because they were using the wrong practice and retrieval methods. People with this mindset avoid challenges, fear failure, and see effort as a sign of weakness. They become defensive when receiving criticism. There is an adage that says, if you think you can or can't, you're probably right. And although it has been attributed to many speakers, the first time it appeared in print was the September 1947 edition, volume 51 of the Reader's Digest. People with a fixed mindset tend to give up easily and not accept criticism. They focus on the appearance of things looking good versus making them good. The goal is often to appear smart or capable, rather than to genuinely improve and learn through hard work. Have you ever looked at someone else's success and thought to yourself, oh, I could never do that? Or he was born with a lot of money and that's why he can do that. Or she was born on that side of town and that's why she can achieve that. That is a characteristic of having a fixed mindset. Psychologist Carol Dweck and her colleagues have garnered huge attention for showing just how big an impact one simple conviction can have on learning and performance. The belief that your level of intellectual ability is not fixed, but rests to a large degree in your own hands. People with a growth mindset tend to embrace challenges as opportunities, learn from their setbacks, show more motivation, and develop stronger, more adaptable coping skills. Carol Dweck and her colleagues have shown us that teachers can teach students to have a growth mindset by encouraging positive self-talk, resiliency through setbacks, and trying again. In the book Make It Stick, The Science of Successful Learning by Peter Brown, Henry Roediger III, and Mark McDaniel, growth-minded individuals don't take feedback or criticism personally. Instead, they actively seek it out, viewing it as valuable information that helps them improve their performance. Teachers and educators owe it to students to give them comprehensive, detailed feedback so that students may improve upon their learning skills that are working and change those that are not working. Students with the growth mindset find inspiration and learn from the achievements of others. They study the strategies of successful people to understand how they achieve their goals. A growth mindset offers several benefits, including increased resilience, better stress management, and a greater ability to achieve goals through continuous learning and effort. Question number 1. Pause the video and take a moment to reflect on how you would respond to or help a student who is experiencing frustration with their work or grade. How would you help this student to develop a growth mindset? Question number 1, possible answer. Educators should work with students, reteach concepts, use peer feedback, and teach students to have a growth mindset to overcome classroom frustrations. Question 2. True or false? A growth mindset is negative and stagnant. It says you can't do it. Question number 2. Answer. A growth mindset helps to keep you motivated when the task seems too hard or attainable. So this answer is false. Learning and memory strategies such as mnemonics and self-quizzing introduce manageable cognitive effort into the learning process, leading to improved long-term retention and understanding. All knowledge and memory are physiological phenomena held in our neurons and neural pathways. The idea that the brain is not hardwired, but plastic, mutable, something that reorganizes itself with each new task, is a recent revelation, and we are just at the frontiers of understanding what it means and how it works. A comprehensive review published in 2013 of the extent of research into raising intelligence in young children sheds helpful light on the issue of IQ and the ability to raise it. What did they find? Nutrition affects IQ. Providing dietary supplements of fatty acids to pregnant women, breastfeeding women, and infants had the effect of increasing IQ by anywhere from 3.5 to 6 points. Games are a great way to provide children with fun, new ways to learn information. When designing a game, educators must be sure to make it challenging and full of the skills they are looking for students to master. During retrieval practice, as a learner, instead of passively reading your notes, use flashcards or low-stakes quizzes on previously covered material throughout a semester. This requires significantly more effort than just rereading, but ensures that you truly know the content for future assessments and not just a single test. Retrieval practice, or attempting to recall information from memory, is a highly effective learning strategy because it helps to strengthen memory and promote long-term retention. Many types of mnemonics exist, and which type works best is limited only by the imagination of each learner. Mnemonic devices are sometimes discounted as tricks of memory, not tools that fundamentally add to learning. And in a sense, this is correct. The value of mnemonics to raise intellectual abilities comes after mastery of new material, as the students use them as handy mental pockets, filling what they've learned and linking the main ideas in each pocket to vivid memory cues so that they can readily bring them to mind and retrieve the associated concepts and details in depth and at the unexpected moment the need arises. If you look at our picture here, this is a mnemonic device. We have a young boy who represents the past, an adult male who represents the present, and a senior citizen male who represents the future. This is a mnemonic device for verb tenses. When using retrieval practice, an effective tool to use is spaced out practice. That means practicing just a little bit, taking a break, and coming back to study more later. When you study the new information, you should also take a look at the previously learned information. This helps the information to pass from your temporary memory into your long-term memory. Spacing out your study sessions for a new language over several days or weeks allows the information to sink in better. Coming back to the material after a break makes it easier to recall and solidifies it in your long-term memory, according to Brown, Roediger, and McDaniel. Question number 3. Fill in the blank. Attempting to recall information from memory is called question number 3, answer. Fill in the blank. Attempting to recall information from memory is called retrieval practice. Taking a test on material leads to better long-term retention than simply studying or rereading the material. The authors argue that this effect is due to testing involving retrieval practice. With continued retrieval practice, complex material can become second nature to a person, and the mnemonic cues are no longer needed. You consolidate concepts into mental models that you can use as a kind of shorthand. Through repeated use, your brain encodes and chunks the sequences of motor and cognitive actions, and your ability to recall and apply them becomes as automatic as habit. Creating flashcards is a great way to practice retrieval practice intentionally. Once you have a stack of flashcards that you know and have committed to memory, you should practice those in between the new material that you are trying to learn. Self-quizzing is a fun way to see what you know. It is also an excellent way to test yourself before the big class test. It is also used similarly to your flashcards. Frequent short quizzing aids in retrieval practice by frequently recalling information as a means to store it in your long-term memory. Question number 4. Select the correct answer or answers. Retrieval practice involves A. Eating peanut butter while you study, B. Creating flashcards, C. Rereading your notes or textbook, or D. Self-quizzing. Question number 4. Answer. Creating flashcards and self-quizzing are correct answers for retrieval practice, B and D. It has long been proven that the earlier we intervene when a student is experiencing learning difficulties, the earlier we provide quality instruction, the greater the long-term outcome. Teachers can create winners in their classrooms by teaching their students to have a growth mindset, encouraging prompt feedback, and using games as a means to deliver effective retrieval practice and thus increase learning in their students. Educators receive feedback from administrators, and in that same manner, educators should give feedback to their students. The feedback should be specific, actionable, and framed positively to foster growth rather than critique. Peer feedback is also an excellent process of one's individual learning, providing values and suggestions on another's work, fostering both learning and improvement through shared insights and different perspectives. Educators should teach students how to give and receive feedback to increase their learning and receive information in a new way. Question number 5. Why should students be taught to use effective methods of studying and learning? Question 5, possible answer. Students should be taught effective study methods to improve academic performance, foster lifelong learning skills, boost confidence and reduce anxiety, and develop independence and self-discipline. Teaching these skills provides students with a strong foundation for success in school and beyond, helping them to understand and retain information better, manage their time, and tackle challenges effectively. Students must take control of their learning and be responsible for what happens when they use methods that have been proven not to work. How you feel about yourself plays a great role in how much you can achieve. Having a spirit that wants knowledge increases the likelihood that you will learn exactly what you set out to learn. Rising above those desired difficulties and bad practices while using a growth mindset leads students to use mnemonics to retain newly gained knowledge. Educators need to intervene and teach students good study habits. Use feedback effectively and help students nurture a growth mindset for long-term learning to take place. With continued retrieval, complex material can become second nature and mnemonic devices may no longer be needed. Take a moment to review the references used to complete this report.